Hey, what's up guys, it's Samuel G, and this is a video about one of my last RPGinfluence, which is Mage the Ascension from Old World of Darkness. So let's get it on with it. I discovered Mage the Ascension pretty much at the same time I discovered World of Darkness, but you know, it was a really, I haven't got the chance to play it until way later in life, because I waited for the 20th anniversary to, waited for the 20th anniversary edition to come out to actually, get a game going. So, yeah, what about Mage the Ascension? What's the influence it had on me? The influence Mage the Ascension had on me is pretty much, well, first it was the first really philosophical game that I've discovered. Like it was a game that was an amazing metaphor for classical RPG, classical philosophy discussions and questions and traditions. And so for me, it was right at home. It was amazing. I really liked the approach, of the magic system as well, which was allow for a lot of creativity. But the thing is that this game is a really good example of how setting can dictate mechanics. It's one of those rare games where the mechanics, there is more now, but I would say back then, at least, there's, great example of how mechanics can be dictated by setting. And the magic system in this game definitely does it. The sphere system is allow for so much creativity, and it's really deep. There's a lot of stuff you can do with it, and it's adding a lot to the idea of the traditions. Because when you play the game, there is traditions, there's technocracy and all that, and it's this fight for reality. It's like what paradigm is gonna win at the end. When you try and make sense of it all, so let's say it's always a metaphor, right? It's always metaphorical in this game. But you play, there is a situation at hand, you're trying to deal with it. There's things happening, and you deal with it in a style or an aesthetic, in an aesthetic way that matches your tradition, utilizing spheres. But the spheres are abstract stuff that you just interpret a little bit the way you want as a player, and then you make it happen. and it changes reality. And then there's a really neat mechanic of the paradox that gets back at you whenever the GM wants, and it creates this dynamic at the table where you never know when it's gonna get back at you. You never know how it's gonna look like. You never know what it's gonna be. So it's just an amazing game. I just love it. Even though it's really traditional, even though it's easy to fall into some bad form, according to my own taste, obviously. But it's really great. I will always come back to it. I like to play it from time to time. A few sessions to complete a chapter, and just get it on with it. So yeah, so this is so the way it influenced me is allow me to get back after my paradigm shift with Burning Wheel. It allowed me to get back to more traditional old school games. Helped me understand how I can make them my own, and the rest of it. I mean, The other influence it had on me is this approach where there is a dynamic, a little bit like Wrath in that sense, but where there's a dynamic between all the players at the table. But here it's the GM that utilizes the paradox. But you can always do it the Wrath way and say, you know what, reality is a bitch. It's not the GM only, it's anyone other than yourself that can strike you with paradox at the table. You know, so that's not in the book. I don't think it's in the book. It might be in the 20th anniversary edition. There might be a proposal, but you know, it's really nice. It's this whole dynamic at the table. The another way that this game influenced me is you know, giving me a really good template on how to utilize philosophy as a backdrop setting for for your themes and your aesthetic. And so the game gives me a really good model. Then I can try to apply the same kind of you know, metaphorical structure to other games and themes, and creating that same kind of philosophical experience. All right, so thank you for watching, and I think there's only one more for now on this list, so see you soon.